Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to ARTIVISM, the Power of Art for Social Transformation. Today we have Cecilia Venosta-Wiygul. She is the president of the Center for the Women of New York. She has been a volunteer for the organization since 2016. Cecilia studied psychology at the Harvard Extension School and is a legal, community, and medical Spanish-English interpreter and translator from Argentina. Since Cecilia arrived in the United States in 2001, she has volunteered for several nonprofit organizations advocating for children and women's rights, education, and the environment. She is currently the president of of her three daughters' elementary school PTA, Educational District 26 representative at Chancellor Parent Advisory Council, an immigrant child advocate at the Young Center, a board member at the Douglaston Civic Association, and the Udall's Cove Preservation Committee. Cecilia, with the Center for Women of New York, supports, empowers, and advocates for women who face financial, housing, food insecurity, health, violence, and social, emotional, or legal problems, and helps them by understanding their needs and connecting them with the Center for Women of New York services, nonprofit partner organizations, and the city agencies they need to overcome their challenges and reach their maximum potential. Welcome, Cecilia.
Thank you so much, RJ. It's a pleasure to be here. And thank you, Carolina, too. Like you both do such a great job with ARTIVISM. I'm very happy to be part of it today. All right. May I share the screen? Let's see. Yeah, oops. All right. So as RJ said, I am the president of the Center for the Women of New York. For if you're not familiar with the organization, it was founded in 1987 by Angelina Dowling. This is me. RJ already talked to me, so I'm not going to bore you about with the same information. This is Angelina. She was the founder of the organization. She decided to found this center because she was a school teacher and an activist, and she saw a lot of inequality in the schools. She saw all these programs being offered to girls that were repetitive activities such as knitting and sewing, which are wonderful. But she met a lot of girls that also wanted to do creative stuff like engineering, and she also met a lot of boys that wanted to do crocheting and sewing. So she thought that gender equality was very important, especially with our young members of society. And by founding the organizations, she saw there's so many needs and in terms of gender equality. Recently, we did have a co-naming. She did pass away at the end of 2019. 2 weeks after she was able to open a building, which it was really, really hard to get. She wanted to create this sanctuary for women where they would have a space for different activities, different purposes. The three purposes for this sanctuary was to have a think tank for women's issues and gender equality, where different organizations will come together. And this ARTIVISM reminds me of that, because organizations come together, connect with each other, and try to take action and come up with initiatives. The other purpose was to offer classes and workshops of different kinds, as Archie said, like the purposes of like helping women in like areas, like one of which is art for us today, and I'll go into more detail later. We have like support groups for victims of domestic violence, but I'll go into detail of the programs later. And so classes, workshops, the think tank, and again, like a sanctuary, a place where women would feel safe. This was like the co-naming of the street because she was such an important role model for women, but also fought for many laws, especially state laws, such as like the most recent one was the revenge porn law that she fought against like if this is basically when pictures of women are shared in social media or via email without the woman's consent, that's something that should be punished. So it is a crime to do that now, and she was a big advocate for it, and she fought for it, and she got it done. And like that, she advocated for women with elected officials for the longest time. So we apply for having a name after, like a street named after her. It got approved, and this is the ceremony. Here on your left is the building that I'm talking about, that sanctuary that she really wanted to have. And on your right is Queensboro Hall. We have a small office there. So the 18 years it took her to get the building, on your left, she offers services from this little office in Queensboro Hall. And we're very happy to have that because it is accessible to many women in need. And we get a lot of phone calls of women, like especially now, like with all the immigrant women that are new in New York, we're helping them find ways of finding housing, finding food, finding jobs. We still do that from Queensboro Hall. The mission of our center is to help women overcome financial violence, social wellness, and legal issues by raising awareness, advocating for full gender equality for women, understanding their needs, and connecting them with CWNY services, nonprofit partner organizations, and public resources to aid, uplift, and address their challenges. We do work with many other organizations, and city agencies. We don't do it all, but we always guide women in the right direction if we don't offer what they're looking for. This is us. We are a nonprofit. We are volunteers, members. You can always become a member. We have very low cost membership. We want to bring people in, and like members get to come to events for always the lower price than everyone else, and they get to sit in committees, participate in our program planning, fundraisers. So if you would like to become a member, please do. We'd love to have you, or volunteer. We have an advisory board and a board of directors, and all of us together make our mission possible. The programs that we have currently are referrals and advocacy program. As I said, like we advocate for women that need services that even when we don't have them, we connect them with city agencies, and if they cannot reach them, because sometimes the system is really complex, we make sure that they get to where they need to be. We have a financial literacy workshop series, a career workshop series, a women in crisis support group, a caregiver support groups for people who would take care of aging family members. We have tax preparation assistance, a gardening and sustainability series of workshops, ESL classes, a legal support team, yoga classes, and self-esteem workshops. By doing this, we realized that food and art bring people together and help express. Like some people have come to us to paint nights, for example, and we realized that they came to us because we opened the door of an activity that let them express themselves, and then later they open up telling us that they need one of our other services. Sometimes it's really hard to say, I am here because I'm a victim of domestic violence or intimate partner violence and I need help. But coming to a paint night, or like to our ARTIVISM exhibit, like we partner with ARTIVISM, like ARTIVISM, we were one of the venues of the last exhibit. People come, see paint, and all of a sudden they start, it's like, oh, this is what you do. Maybe I would like to join this. And so art has been really like a path for women to come and take advantage of other services that we provide. So when RG asked us, like, do you want to participate in ARTIVISM? I'm like, well, but we don't really do art. But then I thought about it, and I realized that, you know what, like when we do anything related to art, it's like, you know, a big open door, a big open gate that invites people to come and share and feel comfortable. We've also raised awareness during October, Violence Awareness Month, and we did it through art as well. And I'll show you some pictures. Well, this is a picture of like our yoga class. This is another gate, like art. It also opens the door for people to feel comfortable and explore who we are, and then come and again express themselves. This is gardening, which is another gate, another door. Especially this one, we got several like caregivers that ended up participating in our support group for caregivers, because they're taking care of their parents who are aging. Sometimes it's really hard. This is our nature walk. And I included these pictures because I think the work that our gardening ladies do is art. This garden is a pollinated garden that attracts butterflies, hummingbirds, bees. And I was looking for art pictures, and I looking at this, I'm like, this is art that they are doing. So I included that because of that. And here they're all together, very different backgrounds, different ages, and it's like such a like community builder. This is one like a self-esteem program we planted a week before it happened, and we got all these ladies in a week. But we paired it with a paint night, and they came here. We do it in partnership with another organization that is called the Hans Family Foundation. It is a self-esteem booster. It helps you find your inner beauty that sometimes we forget about, and it makes you realize how beautiful we all are. So we did this program, and then we had a paint night. Show you some more pictures here. We're inside doing the art, and actually the young woman that led the painting activity, we met through ARTIVISM. She was one of the artists that participated in the exhibit, for which we were one of the venues. This is Nia here, and you're doing a self-portrait. And again, this is one of the events where people started talking about their issues and finding things that they have in common. They are begging us to have another one. So hopefully we can contact Nia and she can hear. This is all the ladies. Look at all these smiles. Like art and, you know, community bring people together, helps you, you know, realize how much we have in common and bonds us. They're all of them with their portraits. And here again, there's no one person here that's not smiling. There's some more. It was pretty messy after. Like everyone like let their hair loose and, you know, took their paintbrush and just expressed themselves. This is another example. We again, this is a Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We participated in several festivals, and because the festivals were targeted towards families and children, we had to come up with an activity for kids. And what better than like an art craft activity? So we decided that we were going to do flowers, and the kids of all ages were making flowers. And what we want to do and what the dream of our founder was, it was to educate our young people about how important women are and the role of theirs. So what we did was that we showed them how to make flowers out of tissue paper and pipe cleaners. And we were talking about, we were asking them to think about a woman in their life that they really value, that's very important to them. And as they were making the flowers, they were smiling and saying, my mom or my grandma. So when they finished, we asked them to go and take that flower to that person that was so important to them. and tell them how important they were. Because it starts from this age, from this little one's age, to start appreciating, to learn how much, women value. We're not used to that. We take it for granted a lot. Your grandma does all these things and like cooks and cleans and brings the family together and takes, remembers. So, and as they were doing this activity, it was like so nice to see, how they're thinking of their other families. Here is like our domestic violence, awareness. As you probably know, there are like one woman in four that in the United States that suffers that's a victim of domestic violence at least once in their lives, which is pretty alarming. And when you think about, these little kids, hopefully the number will be a lot less when they grow up. Here's Marisol, one of our board members, making flowers with them. And this is another event. We're also making flowers. We had older children showing younger children how to make the flowers. Also during October, we always had people on our table. And it was also very good for the dads. As the kids were making the flowers and giving the flowers to their moms and their grandmothers, to listen to this and to see this and to encourage the kids to do that, to give mommy a kiss. And so we would tell them, you too, you tell your wife how wonderful she is. No, no puedo. Here's another one. This girl is drawing her favorite mom and all the beautiful colors around her. And this kid actually told us that she wanted to give the flower to us because we were so nice. But I thought that was very cute. This is a flower arrangement that we did in the fall, flower arrangement workshop. After this, we had a Thanksgiving lunch. And again, it's like really bonding when you're working with your hands and with nature, like expressing yourself. It's like really, really bonding. So I'll just share this. It's such a beautiful activity. It's one of them, and they all got to take it home. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and then I'll share it again, because I also want to share what's coming, what we want to do. We recently met a woman who speaks very little English, but she wants to be part of our organization, and she wants to do manualidades, which is arts and crafts in Spanish. I sat with her and she's telling me how important it is in Latin America to do arts and crafts with with different generations, grandmothers, mothers, and daughters making arts and crafts together. So she asked if she could teach a class where all ages are invited and make headbands and bows, accessories for women and girls, also with the purpose of sharing what we make with underserved communities. She's already tried it in the school where she works, and they did all these crafts and share them with refugees. And she would like to use that space, our space, to do the same at the Center for the Women of New York. I thought that was a wonderful idea. Sometimes language doesn't matter, because art is a language. And that's how she communicates with the students that she has in the after school where she works at. So that's one of our, our next art programs. We also, coming up, have very soon on Friday, we have an event that RG helped put together. I will not take one little bit of credit because she did all the work. She connected with so many artists that are bringing art, and it's called Art for a Cause. will have an art exhibit and sale, and artists will donate a percentage of their sales to the center. We will use it for future art programs. We also have a book reading that night. This is on Friday the 9th. This coming up Friday from 6 to 9. We have a book reading by Dr. Blake. She's a nationally recognized author and activist. She's the dean of university, and she helped uplift many women of color and help them finish their bachelor's degree. After, like, like not all of us can take the regular path, like go to college right after high school. So it was very important for her to see these moms that helped raise their kids and needed to go back and not to work in just any job. They had bigger ambitions, aspirations. So she helped them finish their degree. And the book is about that. So she just published her third book, and it is a biography, but it's focused on the women that she helped. So if you can come on Friday, it's extremely interesting to listen to. She worked with Rosa Parks, so she has a lot of stories to tell. That will be again on Friday. It's from 6 to 9. The book reading will be from 7 to 8. And then after that, we will have a performance by Noelia Robles. She's a young actress. She's a 19-year-old from Peru, who has been helping the indigenous communities in Peru, have a voice when it comes to different laws and social issues. So if you can come, she sings beautifully. I hope you can join that. I would love to have more art programs. We're working on that. This year was very important to find that, to what I just shared, to find that art is a language that we can use and a gate for people to come in, express themselves, and maybe later express themselves, and they can be able to say, I am interested in another one of your programs, that they wouldn't have just come directly to that, but through the few art programs that we had, they were able to, and I'm forgetting one that's very important. In one of these awareness month fairs, festivals that we participated in, we had this young woman who also asked us for if the center would do a dance workshop. She suffered trauma, she lost her voice, and she's recuperating her voice, and she's doing it through dance. She said that she couldn't talk, and once she started dancing, she could start talking little by little, and she was able to tell me all this with her voice, but she had a really hard time talking. But she made a huge progress because of dancing. And she said, like, her words were this, like, it was also in Spanish, but she was born here. She said, I want to give other people, even if they didn't lose their voice, but anyone who suffered trauma, what I received, what I could accomplish through dancing. So I want to share with you, I know this is right, like, on your mission in Artivism, what is coming, our way. And hopefully we can keep working with Artivism, and I'm looking forward to what's coming next. I think the exhibit that we had was also, I couldn't find the pictures. I know I have them somewhere, but the Artivism exhibit that we had, last minute also, we decided to just let people paint. So we set up our kitchen with easels, and then we decided to do it outside. So it's beautiful having people go through the exhibit, be inspired by all the art that Artivism brought, and then paint themselves. They would spend hours there. They would not want to leave. Like, if we had to close at 7, or like it was summertime, so it was late, but people were there very happy expressing themselves, and it was like very inspiring to see the exhibit for them. So I really I want to thank you from the bottom of our heart from all of us at the center for bringing that, because this is really what started us, focusing more on art. And as I said, it brought so much to the table. And by the way, we just opened this year in-person programs. The organization has been is very old, but because we were operating from for our Queensboro Hall location for so many years, this is all new to us. And having connected with Artivism and started these kind of programs was so much to us, and so many connections, and people, are able again to take advantage of programs that are very needed for them. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you don't mind me, RG, I would like to share how to contact us, how
Yes.
to social media. So again, these are programs. If you'd like to become a member, I mean, everything is on our website. So if you were to go to CWNY.org, you'll find everything there. How to become a member, if you'd like to donate. We are a nonprofit, so if you like a receipt, we're tax-free. Hold on. These are our two addresses and our phone numbers. If you'd like to take a screenshot, please feel free. Queensboro Hall is located in Kew Gardens, and Fort Totten. I keep saying Fort Totten, assuming that everyone knows where it is. It is in Bayside, also in Queens, very on the way to Long Island, a couple of towns before you get to Long Island. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, these are, again, feel free to take a screenshot or a picture. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and we have a podcast that, we have a few episodes there. We do have Dr. Blake, who's going to present her third book, interviewed her. So if you want to have a taste of what it will be on Friday, please go there and listen to her super interesting, story. All right.
Thank you,
Our
Cecilia. Thank you for being our artivist for today. Next Monday, December 12th, we will have artist, cultural promoter, educator, and project creator Blanca Amascua, who will share her AAA 3A initiative and what it means to have an artist run a project in the intimacy of an apartment in the South Bronx. For more information on Artivism, you can just Google Artivism Adelphi. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Artivism for Shared Humanity. You can watch past presentations and this in about a day or so on our YouTube channel, YouTube at Artivism, the number 4 Shared Humanity. Thank you all for joining us today. Any questions, any comments? Patricia, you're on mute.
I want to thank you for inviting me to come. That was, your presentation was really very mind-opening, really. And was very well done, very well put together.
Thank you so
And
much.
you showed how much you do. And it's pretty impressive. Thank you for inviting me.
And this is all in 1 year and barely. I don't think it's a full year yet.
No, it's not. We started our first program was March, the tax preparation assistance in Fort Totten, right? And then the next one was in May. So I feel that we really started in May. I'm very proud of ourselves. I want to, do a shout out to Victoria. She's our former president. She is here. I don't know if she can talk. I know you have your plate full, Victoria, but she kept it alive in between the end of 2019 until I stepped up as president. And yes, and she's been all along super active. RG's on our board as well. And she's, again, I know I just said it, but I cannot say it enough. I'm so thankful for everything that people bring to the table. It's crazy to think that it hasn't been a year since we're open, because we really have done a lot. We were very busy this year. Patricia, you will be more than welcome. If you can come on Friday and would like to see the space, it would be
I certainly will try.
wonderful to have you.
And the amount of
That's great.
programs that you were able to do really show how much they are needed.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. You know, like it was hard because you know, like it was hard for everyone during COVID.
Mm.
And you know, we were opening, our grand opening was December 16th. Our founder passed away 2 weeks later, and then COVID happened
Mm.
right after. So seemed like so challenging, but as soon as we opened, it was very clear that what's most needed is community.
Mhm.
Community building. Like people really need to socialize, to connect with other people. And again, that's why I showed you the pictures of anything that has to do with art, food. They have a food tasting event as well. That was a fundraiser. And like gardening, like you working with your hands. We have been quiet in our houses, not doing anything. So being with people and doing things with your hands and moving and sharing is just like so needed, as you said, Patricia. It's like really
Yeah.
people are desperate for it, and they smile because of that. Yeah, those smiles in the pictures are because like they are finding it, and it's great to see.
And art has become the gateway to finding help, really, giving, you know, the person the courage to speak up, even just a little bit, or to
Right.
seek help. Yeah. Carolina?
And it's-
Hello, thank you for this presentation and also for all the marvelous collaborations that the Center of Women under your leadership and the support of all the members have allowed to have with Artivism, as you were mentioning with the one of the venues for the exhibition that was a hit this past spring and fall, summer, and also we're getting ready for the next one this coming spring with a more performance-based one, but that it will also have visual components. Thank you for letting some of the artists be part of the programming, as you mentioned, to have the workshop that brings so many smiles to the community. And you know, what I was thinking as you were presenting was also in your founder, right? And how she saw the need and what she had to do. Because, yes, I believe the center has been at this location for over this year, but your history is ongoing. It goes back many, many years. If you could give us
Absolutely.
a couple of words on that, on how anyone around the world that might be looking at this presentation, um, what would you tell them in regards to starting that community, taking that step like your founder did, like so many other presidents did, like you mentioned, Ms. Victoria, that is here, and now that you're the current president, is this communal effort for a greater good, right? Any words on that?
Absolutely. So you're so right. Every time I feel tired, because this is hard work, and I know everyone that says, you know, there are days when you're like, I don't know if I can keep doing it. I think of Anne, and I think of this story that you're asking me about. She founded the organization in 1987. She got a building in Fort Totten in the same park a few years after, a couple of years after. And very soon after, an elected official at the time didn't understand why a building would be dedicated to women. Why would a building be dedicated to just women? That was the thinking behind it. So the building was taken away from the organization. Anne was very
Oh.
small in stature, and this is the famous quote for her, very small in stature, but she was the strongest. Like knew her, like she came in the room and everyone just like had such respect. Um, she's very, very strong. So when that happened, she decided that that's not going to be the end. She had she fought many legal, but then when she won, and the building was going to be given to her, this building that we have unit in Fort Totten, very ironic. It was for single men, for single soldiers, and now it's a center for the women of New York. So she had to get funding to renovate it. So she had to restore this building, which in itself is a piece of art. The architects have done an amazing job. They got awards for it because they tried to keep it. It's a historical building, so they tried to keep it original as they were restoring it. So she was able to get funding to restore the first floor. All those battles, the legal battles, the funding, and the actual construction took 18 years. So again, I think about Anne, and it's like I can not tire. It's possible. She did it for 18 years. I can do it. And she got the mission. This needs to be a sanctuary. It is needed. And Patricia, as you said, she was right. She was very right. One of the concerns of many of us, including myself, Victoria, many of us who were close to her were like, why Fort Totten? Why there? It's not that accessible. Women come because they feel open, it feels great. We are surrounded by first responders. The army's there, the fire department's there, the police is there, NYPD. So it is a very safe place. It is a sanctuary that she wanted to create. So people come, and there are a couple of buses that come there, and hopefully in the future we can get some transportation from a main, subway line or something that will help more women come to us. But thank you, Carolina, for asking that. That has always been a really huge motivation for all of us who are part of the center, including new volunteers. We tell them that story, and they are, to what she has done and what she has accomplished. And she did it all by herself. Sometimes, like several of us are driving ourselves crazy with all the things that we have to do, and she did it all on her own. I mean, she always had some of us helping her, but none of us understood how it really was like. Now, I'm sure Victoria understands how it's like, and we always talk about it. To do what she did, there's so many aspects of the organization. Even though the building, we but we are the tenants of the parks, and there's like doing programs that requires all this in the word and connect volunteers, and there's so many aspects. But she knew that it was going to work. It didn't matter what anyone said. She knew exactly what she was doing. Here we are starting that or continuing her mission. Thank you so much for that question again.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it takes the drive of one person, right? To get a team going. And then you see, over the years, what she, what this one person did then inspires so many thereafter. Just like you said, if Anne did this and really dealt with a lot more back then, I can keep on going. Thank you so much, Cecilia. Thank you for this, I guess, inspirational presentation and informative. And, hopefully we can continue working and bringing more free programs to the center, making it known that we are there to assist. We will be working together with ARTIVISM. Thank you to Sing for Hope, our sponsor, one of our sponsors at Delphi University, Stephanie Lake, Gottesman Libraries at Teachers College at Columbia University, and of course Jennifer Govan, we call our godmother here, for bringing this, and to Carolina. Thank you. And Carolina will now ask the question we ask all our presenters at the end of each presentation. Go ahead, Carolina, ask away.
Okay, I would just like to echo Professor RG here with the thanks, and thank you to the audience members also for being here, and all of you watching this presentation as well. The question is, as an artist, right, the key takeaway from your presentation today, what would you say to our audience members today? One key takeaway for action from your presentation.
From action. I think I already touched on it a little, but these connections in person and through art are so important. So I think bringing people in, getting yourself out there and doing it. Sometimes it's just not perfect. Many times you feel that it's not perfect, but having talked today about all the things that we have done, and I know all of us sometimes doubted us, but we went ahead and did it. So the takeaway is that, like, we always have to try to do it, you know, and ask for help. Like when we work together, like now, like we work with ARTIVISM, and it's a best, like it has the best outcomes. It never goes wrong. Maybe something doesn't work out the way you wanted, but it will always, the result will always bring more positive than not. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to look at all the stuff that we did in this not even a year. And thank you for the connection.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You too. Have a great evening, and I hope to see all of you. So
See you Friday.
Yes. Bye-bye.